Hi, can you see it? Can you see the presentation right now or not yet?
Very nice. We can see it and can hear you. Excellent.
Okay, thank you very much for this wonderful introduction. I never look back actually, so I really don't know what exactly I did. I only know that I love the game and I'm a student of the game. I have been very fortunate to have all of these experiences in my life and in my career, and I'm very thankful for that. And at this moment, I think it's a good time to share all of the experiences and try to have a contribution to, better game, better goalkeeping, better coaching, whatever it is. So again, thank you very much for this. And I will start to say that, I made every possible mistake that you can make as a coach. I did make them as a goalkeeper coach, but that's the base to make less mistakes than you did and become better. So what I want to do today is, first of all, again, thank you for this invitation. I think it's wonderful to share information with colleagues. My background is that I have a master's degree in physical education, so I did study actually sports quite a lot. On the other side, my background is also that I was a player and became a goalkeeper because with goalkeeping, I could pay for my studies. So that's an interesting story. I am a regular coach, and on the other side, I'm also a specific coach. So a few things that are important for me. Number one, it's always about the game, and from the game, try to improve the game. So I want to start with a game moment, and I want to ask all the coaches, because I understand there are goalkeeper coaches, but a lot of head coaches, assistant coaches as well, which is fantastic because I still have the feeling that it's too far apart and we should be a lot closer in that. So looking at this moment, and I will come back to this moment, and I will explain to you, of course, why. First of all, you're in it as coaches. I have like a little bit more than half an hour. So within that time, what can you expect from me? So what you can expect from me is that I try to let you look through my eyes, how I look at goalkeeping in this sense, in my vision, in the methodology. So I took a game moment. So how to analyze a game moment with the goalkeeper in the main role. And in this case, it's the pass back. And there also will be a little touch about the cooperation of the head coach or the staff and the goalkeeper coach. And you can see, for me, the goalkeeper coach is an assistant coach. Having said that, it also means that, the goalkeeper coach need all kinds of competences. And you also need, in my opinion, to have a regular coach license. So he sees the game in total and not only out of the point of view of the goalkeeper. So more specific, if I want you to look through other glasses, it means I will explain to you what is football, a structure of football in goalkeeping. Then I take the pass back as a concrete example. I say something about the goalkeeper coach areas, work areas, the way I look at it and I saw it. Something about profile of the goalkeeper, which is more or less, of course, expectations. What should he be able to do? And then a tool for analyzing football problems, and it's called the 5 Ws. So what do I see nowadays in goalkeeper coaching in general? In reality, everybody has their opinion. Everybody has a right on an opinion, but it's all based on assumptions, personal opinions. I think that, I believe, I know, my experience is, etc. And if we look at social media, they give it a face in many books, in videos. In social media, we see YouTube films, we see Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, etc. So everybody, of course, is free to do what they want. My only question is, where is it based on? Well, what is the reference? Because if you don't have a reference and you can't explain what it's based on, it's very difficult to evaluate. So what I really would like to do is making goalkeeping more objective and more concrete. We also know that a lot of head coaches say, wow, goalkeeping, I don't want to do anything to do with it. I have a goalkeeper coach and that's it. Well, Jordi is, I think, still there. I was very fortunate that his father signed me as a goalkeeper coach, basically one of the first, definitely in Europe, but maybe even in the world. And he was very interested in goalkeeping, which made it also a lot more interesting for me because I was a coach, but I was, of course, specialized. I also worked with a few other big coaches like Louis van Gaal, who is also very much involved in goalkeeping, in wanting to know what's going on, why, how to look at it and stuff like that. So the first thing I want to give every coach, be more interested in what's happening around the goalkeeper and goalkeeping if you don't do it yet. Look at Pep Guardiola, the way how he is building up. There's only one way that he is heavily involved in that. So in the modern game, I think it's not more than normal. So I will start with creating a few references. So we also have something to evaluate. Well, here they are. Johan, of course, the best I've ever worked with. Pep Guardiola, as a player, I also worked with him 3 years in Barcelona. And I think that Pep now is, in my opinion, one of the best coaches in the world and maybe the best coach in the world. And when Pep met Johan, what he said was, I knew nothing about football until I met Johan. And of course, Pep knew something about football because he had been educated in the game as well. But the references that Johan had were so unique and different from what Pep knew that, you know, for him, it opened a new world in the game. And that's based on the references. And I can say the same because I did the federation's education. But when I came to Ajax, Johan was, of course, the coach. And Johan based everything he did on his own references. And the references were not always the same as the federation. Sometimes they were completely different. But it was very interesting because there are many ways that can help you to become a good or better coach. I think as a coach, as a goalkeeping coach, as an assistant coach, you need references. And you need these references as a base to make football and goalkeeping more objective and concrete. So I start with the structure of football and goalkeeping. And we need that. We need that as a base also for evaluation. So if we look at the game, it doesn't matter where you are, whether you're in Africa, whether you're in Asia, when you're in the US, whether you're in Europe, the structure of the game is really everywhere the same. Because this is what we see. We see a pitch, and on the pitch, we see teams, we see two teams, we see a referee, we see a direction. So if we look at it, what we see is a field, and the field has a size. It's world knowledge, I think, that Barcelona won the biggest field in the world. Why? They are very good with the ball, which means if they play the ball together in a big field, it's easier to attack and more difficult to defend. So the big field let the opponent run a lot. But if you want to defend, it's easier to do that on a smaller field. A better field is, of course, always better to attack for the possession-based teams, but not so good field is always in the advantage of teams that are not so good. And so you can go on. There's one ball on the pitch, one team that attacks, one team that defends. There's always a direction of play. You attack on one side and you defend the other side. There's always rules, and we have always referees and linesmen. And we know even nowadays with the VAR, it's not that easy. There's a lot of problems. Is it a goal? Yes, no, centimeters and stuff like that. There are coaches. Nowadays at top level, more than one. So where do you place them? Together on the bench or maybe separated on different places? You have reserve players. Nowadays, 5 changes at top level in some competitions, which is a lot, of course. And then you have the influence from the outside, which is the press, the parents, the public. Now, not of course, but normally, yes, it is. So if we see this, then we have to translate that into words to make it more concrete and more understandable. So if we look at the game, we see team functions. If we have the ball, we attack. If they have the ball, we defend. And there's a transition moment. So in the game, these are the moments that we see, but also the set pieces. If you look how many games are decided by set pieces, it's getting more and more, and the amount of games that are decided by that are getting higher and higher. So it's very important, in my opinion, if you want to win, to have enough also attention for the set pieces. From the team functions, we go to the tasks. If we have the ball, we build up, we create chances, we try to score. If we don't have the ball, we disturb the building up, we avoid chances, and we defend the goal. We can do that in a certain team organization. You put the players in a certain way on the pitch, the 1-4-3-3, the 1-4-4-2, the 1-3-4-3, and all kinds of variations. But important is, where do we attack? Do we do that on the half of the opponent? Do we do that halfway? Or do we do that close to our penalty box? And the same in defending. You can have a different team organization in defending than in attacking. And also important is, where do we defend? As we know, 74, the Dutch national team, at the half of the field of the opponent. That has a lot of influence on the whole team, also on the goalkeeper. So based on that, you go to the basic task of the team, when we have the ball, when they have the ball, transition moments, and the set pieces, but also per position. And of course, today I will go into that task of the goalkeeper, but it's basically the same on every position on the pitch. Analyzing situations means you also need some tools for that. So I do that based on communication, decision-making, execution, fitness. And I will try to explain that. So communication means you should be able to scan the whole situation on the pitch. There are a few players that are exceptional in that. I talk about Xavi, I talk about Messi, I talk about Iniesta. They are incredibly in scanning the situation, knowing what's going on, and knowing what happened. Based on that communication, what happens around me, you need to make a decision. And it's also amazing to see the Iniesta and Xavi and Messi, that they almost always make the right decision. And the decision came inside. It's based on the moment of the game, the score, the teammates, the opponents, etc., etc., etc. Then if you made the decision, you get the execution. Now you have to execute what you saw, the decision you make, and now you need to be able to execute it. And the fitness part is you need to do everything above as long as possible, as long as needed, to the whole game, 90 plus minutes, extra time, and penalty kicks, and throughout the whole season. Okay, so going to the specific position of the goalkeeper. So based on the structure, and I explained to you the structure of the game, now we come to the specific task of the goalkeeper when we defend, but also when we attack, and also, of course, in the set pieces. And everything should again be analyzed by the CDEF, which is a tool. Okay, if we look at one specific item of all the things that the goalkeeper is supposed to do during a game, we take out now the pass back. Why? To make it a concrete example. And I also think that the pass back is more a problem of the team than only for the goalkeeper. So having said that, I'm going to create more new references. And keep in mind, Pep together with Johan, and I didn't know football until I met Johan. It's a matter of references. So if I look at the pass back, and I've been studying, of course, the pass back many years, and if I look at it, I came to the following, what I saw. There's pressure on the goalkeeper, or there's no pressure on the goalkeeper. There is a free man on the pitch, or there's not a free man on the pitch. And the goalkeeper has to play short, or has to play a long pass. If you look at that, then you can see there are totally 8 different situations. So if these are the situations that occur in the games, it could mean that you have to pay attention to that and maybe practice it. And I will give you, of course, some concrete examples. So if I talk about the pass back then and the specific goalkeeper actions, we talk about the goalkeeper needs to find the perfect position to receive the ball. And there's a lot of discussion about that. Should it be outside of the goal? Should it be inside of the goal? Should it be as far as possible from the opponent and stuff like that? Well, It always depends on the team. It depends on the way of playing. It depends on the qualities of the goalkeeper, of course. We've seen in Manchester City, Joe Hart, traditional English goalkeeper, could not fulfill the needs of the game that Pep wants to play, especially in the build-up. Bravo was signed. Basically, he could play like that, only he had an unlucky season. And now with Ederson, you can see that definitely in the build-up, he is the guy that can execute perfectly what Pep wants. The goalkeeper receives the ball. Then direct passing, control pass, control dribble pass. The actions are, when he is passing the ball, a lot of goalkeepers are just kicking it away. And in my opinion, that's cleaning up. If you want to build up, that means you do everything you can to keep the ball in your own team. The type of passing that a goalkeeper should be able is on the ground, different ways, through the air, straight, but also like a falling ball. And ideal, he should be capable of doing that with his right and left foot. But these are coaching points, but not only for the goalkeeper. It's also the player who plays the ball back, and also all the other players, all the other team players on the pitch, in relationship with what the opponent is doing. So if you look at the goalkeeper, these are coaching points for the goalkeeper in communication, decision-making, and the execution. But also the player who plays the ball back. He needs to scan the situation, make a decision, and then if he decides to play the ball back, it's important. When do you play it back? The direction of playing back, the speed of the ball, and of course, what are you doing when you did play the ball back? And all the other players, it's basically the same. They need to scan the situation. They need to make decisions and then execute. They need to create positions, to create options. They need to get sometimes in that position or stay in the position where they are in. They have to be in that position. They have to be ready to receive the ball and willing to receive the ball. And of course, after the ball is played, there's a new situation. So if you look at this, you can see it's not the problem of the goalkeeper. It's a problem of the whole team together. So it's a perfect situation for goalkeeper coaches and head coaches to work together on this specific item. So if we look at Manchester City, I think that Pep with his City is perfectly in developing the way how the Dutch started, you know, in 74 with Michels and Johan, with Johan at Ajax, with Johan at Barcelona, and Pep being a student then already of the game, he made it now, I think, in a quite perfect way, what it can be at this moment. So if we look at his way of building up from the back, the best build-up team in the world with players and goalkeepers who can do it, but still there are points you can improve. So it's very smart what the opponent did in this case. You know, they left the ball to the goalkeeper and played more or less 1-1 or half-half with the rest of the players. So this will be an interesting thing, how to solve it. The only thing I can say is we had a similar situation with Bayern München, in which we wanted to play out of the back, but the pressure of the opponent was very good, and the build-up qualities of our players was a little bit less than what we wanted. So we decided to play the ball, the first ball long. And that's also, I heard Jordi said something about it. You have to adapt. So, and that's what we did as well. We created space in front of Ribéry, in front of Robben, and the opponent was pressing. And then the goalkeeper, in this case, Boet, had to play a falling ball in the space before Ribéry, in front of Robben, and they then went for the ball. And normally, 8 out of 10 times, we had the ball. And if you did that 2, 3, 4 times, the opponent was going back, and then we could build up from the back. So I have to say the same as Jordi in this case. You cannot continue to do what you want to do if it's not successful or it's a lot of risk. Then you have to find solutions as a coach, as a head coach, and hopefully also the assistants and the goalkeeper coach. Okay, more references. So as a goalkeeper coach, you have, of course, the areas where you have a certain responsibility. In my opinion, the head coach is always responsibility for everything. And partly he gives responsibilities to the rest of his coaches. And to say it again, when I started to work with Johan Cruyff as a coach, it was amazing how much freedom he gave all of his assistants to be also part of the total team. And that was enlightening and it was very good. So if you look at this total picture, you can see you work for a club, nothing more important than the club or the country or whatever you are. Every club or country, they have an identity. And the identity should be explained in a vision. And the vision should be explained in a way of playing. And we all know the way of playing of Barcelona now. When Johan came there, when Van Gaal did the follow-up, when Frank Rijkaard did the follow-up, and I think the best is with Pep Guardiola, one out of their own area, one out of their own culture, in Catalan, and he did develop it the way it is now. But it's important that you have that clear. And if that is clear, you also know what type of goalkeeper you need. And that means you make a profile. What is expected from the goalkeeper? You can see scouting is based on that. You can see the practice plan, a development plan, but also a preparation on the game, because every game needs to be, you need to win that. You can see there will be a development plan. Where are we? Where do we want to go? That means for the whole team, but also individual, in this case, for the goalkeeper. And then, of course, the game. What is the role of the coaches? What's the role of the goalie? After that, an evaluation. So all of this, in a nutshell, that's very important for working together. The next step is, the goalkeeper coaching. And you can see that's a lot of things that you have to do, and you need the competences for that. You need planning, you need individual meetings, you need group meetings, you need team meetings. You need communication with players as part of the team to win the game, because you do it all together. It's practicing individually sometimes, but mainly integrated and game related. You practice with players and goalkeepers together, but also separately. And the other side, the communication, the cooperation with the head coach, of course, is incredibly important to know exactly the job also during the games. So having said this, I want to say something about the profile. We have seen that not every goalkeeper can play every style of play of every way they want to play. So you need to create a profile and you need to make it concrete. And why do you need to make it concrete? Because then you can evaluate it, you can see where you are and how you can improve it. So when I went to United, I made a profile, 20, 30 pages for all the goalkeepers and the goalkeeper of United. So what is expected with a pass back? So I wrote down what expected with the pass back with our way of playing. Then what actions do I expect from the goalkeeper to be able? And this was with goalkeeper 1 till 5. And like Dean Henderson, who is now with the national team as well, he was the number 5, for example. But they all had also to fill this out. So what is expected in actions? What do I expect from the goalkeeper? And how do I rate it? I did let all the goalkeepers fill this out themselves. In the beginning, they thought I was crazy, of course, but they did it. Then I filled it out. Then I had game moments to back it up. We came to conclusions, and this was the start to work on all the areas of goalkeeping in which they could improve, became better, or at least do what they had to do. The last, analyzing tools. If you want to analyze a game moment, a help can be that you describe the problem clearly with the 5 W's. So what goes wrong in relationship to the objective? Where on the field does it take place? Then who are the players that are in the main role? When does the problem occur? And which circumstances are there? Okay, so finishing this up with the game moment, I will explain this moment, how I look at it, with all the given references that I gave you. So I spoke about what is football, the structure of football and goalkeeping, the pass back, the work areas, the profile. This is it, the summary, my friends.
Yes, super.
So a lot of information, but I hope that you get the picture I hope that you understand where we are going to and realize it's a process, and the process is always taking time. And where you work on today, it doesn't mean it work tomorrow. And every small improvement is an improvement. Okay, thank you very much. I don't know if there's a possibility for a question.
I think there is one question by Hen Abdu. Is it right? Short question, short answer, Franz, and then we move forward. Hen Abdu, please. You may ask a question, please.
Thank you. Good evening, Franz. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for your presentation. I have one small question. Some of the youth academy in Israel have a goalkeeper coach just in a part-time job. Which tips can you give to those clubs to use better the goalkeeper coach?
Short answer, let the goalkeeper coach educate all the coaches. So if the goalkeeper coach is educating the coaches can help in every session the goalkeeper, and not only a part-time goalkeeper coach that comes by now and then. So I think educate the regular coaches more in goalkeeping so they can help him. Nowadays, the goalkeeper is more a part of the team than it ever was. Okay, so that would be my solution. The other solution is make the goalkeeper coaches as full-time as assistant coaches, but don't only let them work with goalkeepers, let them have a regular license so they are an assistant coach specialized in goalkeeping and, for example, set pieces.
Thank you very much.
You, Franz.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent presentation. Thank you for sharing the knowledge with us, and it was amazing, and best regards to the Netherlands.
Thank you. I wish everybody a very good conference. Thank you for the invitation. Good luck, success, and keep on learning.
We have to thank Franz.
A special thanks to Jordi as well. Jordi, take care.